I've thought about starting my own studio for my entire career. That's what I've always wanted to do, because I have my own ideas about the way things should be. As a player, I enjoy having new and fresh experiences, and having those kind of fresh experiences is what makes games fun.
Went through comics and other art fields and then got into games. I was like, now I'm in games, I'm going to be making games and stuff. And you kind of work for these bigger companies and you quickly realize that I'm not making a game, I'm doing this small, segment of a game. Working in that capacity for years kind of became unfulfilling. That's kind of one of the reasons we started this whole Stoic thing.
Okay. You want to quit your job? You want to quit your job? You want to quit your... Okay, all in, That's extremely rare.
And it's the most amazing experience I've ever had because it feels again, we're sitting here, we're playing with pegs on a board, we're redesigning, we're making up new rules, we're coming up with new ideas, and it totally feels like you're a kid again. And there's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of creativity in that.
You've been at Bass 7.
Oh yeah, you're right. You'd be down to 3.
That's why I started playing Alex. It's pure cheat.
Whatever.
I couldn't imagine a better team for this, because the three of us kind of form 3 distinctly different but complementary disciplines. It's perfectly balanced.
The Banner Saga is actually kind of a complicated thing to explain. People want to know what genre is it, and we try to tell them, turn-based strategy, but that doesn't really encompass what we're trying to do. We started off with a story that we really thought was something new and fresh and interesting, and our base gameplay mode, turn-based strategy, was something that doesn't necessarily go with that. And what we did was design a story where that made sense. And based on that, we were coming up with these gameplay things that affected the story. And the story would in turn, change what we were doing with the gameplay. And we'd add a system that made sense with how the story was going. And it would go back and forth and create, these 2 pillars that really intermeshed with each other instead of just trying to butt these 2 genre and story together. It's going to feel new and fresh, and it's going to feel like everything exists for a reason.
Your foes return from myth.
So another thing, when we were starting the company initially, everyone was saying, okay, don't show what you're working on, kind of keep it a secret, and then get the marketing machine going, and then launch it. And we realized that's completely ridiculous now. So we actually just started putting out everything, and it's funny because we have friends over from the industry and stuff, and we're showing them stuff, and they're like, I promise I won't tell anybody. And we're going, no. In fact, it's the opposite. You have to sign a paper that swears you will tell everybody about what we're doing. We're building something here called an animatic, which is a very rough kind of layout for pacing that will eventually be turned into our first cinematic. This is here designed to help us kind of progress the story and give people an intro into our Banner Saga world.
When you actually are forced to make a choice, like you have the resources to make one game, your first one has to do good enough to support your company. Which one do you make? And I come back to this genre that I love so much that has really kind of disappeared, even more so than the adventure game genre or the other ones that are doing well on Kickstarter. Aside from some Japanese games, this one has really just kind of dropped off the face of the planet. That was one of the big concerns that we had was, why isn't anyone making this game anymore? Is it because there isn't an audience for it? And what was so reassuring about the Kickstarter was people basically telling you with their money, this is something we really want.
We were watching some TV program that was covering video games, and one of the girls on the video game says, oh, and this week the Banner Saga is launching their Kickstarter video, and they're going to do even better than these other ones. And we go, what?
As time went by, Kickstarter became more and more popular until we got to the point where we sort of landed in Kickstarter. It was really great timing.
I always feel like with the movie industry, when that started, it was brand new and people were figuring it out and getting better at it. And games right now is in the same position, and games has a lot more potential than the movie industry. You can make an interactive experience that the other person can play. Like, that's amazing. That's a different level than passively watching a movie. being at the point where you can still innovate and come up with new stuff, like, and no other generation is going to get that opportunity.
The ability to actually reach out directly to the people that are playing your games right now is unparalleled. So I think, if anything, we can't complain about the game industry right now. We've got to take advantage of it. And if you're into game development or just making games, or having fun doing what you do, designing whatever, go out there and try to do it right now. There's a lot of people that are happy to help fund it and help get it off, help get your idea off the floor, and there's no reason not to.